No, I won't have anything.
How we doing?
How much do you
Been a while. About a week and a change here. So thank you very much for joining us here. A little late tonight, waiting for the Orioles to go on, amongst other things. So a little bit late. I said 8. But usually after Oriole game, it's like 8:45. And then it's 8 o'clock or 8:45. So waited like here till 9 to get everything together. Because I had been obviously it wasn't around last week. So I had to go ahead and get everything together here real quick. So I want to thank all of you. You apologize for that. So in light of that, next week, we're going to do State of the Franchise. We're going to do 2 streams this week. So we did one last week. We didn't do one last week, so we're going to do one tonight, and we're going to do one on tomorrow night as well. So what we're going to do last week, we're going to talk about a lot of those same things. We're going to talk about State of the Franchise, the edge rush, etc. We'll talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about the trade deadline tonight is scheduled because that went on already, and so we're going to talk about a lot of things as well with the MLB. We're going to go ahead and do that. Orioles tonight as well. Tomorrow night, we're going to do the training camp report like we were going to do tonight. We're going to talk about the MLB training camps, the NFL training camps that just started out in Owings Mills. Good stuff that's going on. So we're about day 7 in as well, reading out good things. Jacoby Lane's name keeps coming up, so that's really cool that's going out there at Owens Mills as well. So I just want to thank all of you. Do apologize for the last about week and a half here. I've been there hasn't even been posting really as well. So we're here. Thank you for your patience and everything that's going on as well. Do apologize also to the driver and the top guys. I haven't been again dealing with some stuff, so I couldn't really do much of anything. So we're here, but we're ready. Wind me up and let me go too, because some of this stuff I'm seeing in baseball and in football is crazy. Some of these trades are just completely ridiculous in baseball. I mean, I don't understand some of the logic that's going on right now. All right. So got that out the way. Genesis Notary Services here at the bottom of the screen, Facebook.com. Back with that Genesis Notary Services. If you are in the Winchester area, I'm now again available for that as well. Had to take a few days off along with the Harris Legal Shield. Definitely too. If you want to save money with Legal Shield, definitely check us out. It is great resources for you to go ahead and get Legal Shield. Legal Shield is tremendous as far as getting help with any legal matters. I've personally, trust me when I tell you, I've definitely used Legal Shield before. Definitely too, if you're having any legal issues or anything like that, definitely Legal Shield is a great, fantastic resource for you to go ahead and get yourself squared away. As well, Maryland football is coming. We're going to have our Maryland football preview here coming up shortly. So definitely check that out if you haven't already done so. Definitely check out the Maryland football preview that is coming. The Maryland football preview that is coming up here. That is on September 6th. That's before the season starts. We're also probably going to have an instant reaction for college football, probably the Oklahoma and Michigan game. We're going to go ahead and do that as well. NFL preseason predictions that starts September 6th. NFL preseason predictions September 6th, August 30th. That is when we're going to do our Maryland football preview before the season starts. And we're ready for football, man. Because the Orioles, man, we'll get to Michael Elias. I'll get to that guy. That's disgraceful what I'm seeing as well. It's yeah, we'll go there. We're starting with football. I won't immediately go into Elias because we got one of my favorite videos. That's why I wanted to do this again tonight. State of that franchise for the Ravens. So, state of the franchise. So we do this before the season starts, the preseason starts as well. what is the state of the Ravens like this? So like this, you have anytime at the beginning of the year, the president goes to State of the Union, state of the country, state of everything, start of the Ravens season. Here we go. It's our version of January to start your training camp. We're actually going to have a football game tomorrow. Tomorrow night, the preseason starts for the NFL. And tonight, state of the franchise. So what does the Ravens franchise look like these days? So what's happened in the offseason? So what this basically will do is kind of go over a capsule synopsis from the loop miss at the end of the year to right now. Basically just a capsule synopsis. Some of it, of course, we talked about already in the offseason, but we will go over it here as well. All right, state of the franchise. What's happened? Obviously, a lot has happened here. For the first time in almost 20 years, there's no John Harbaugh as head coach. Jesse Minter, now over from the Chargers, is the new head coach of the Ravens. He will go ahead and lead the new era for the Ravens under the next flight era, as they were, new uniforms as well, the new era of the Ravens. The only name that's been there for a while is EDC. Every dollar counts. Eric DeCosta, who has been back for his 8th season. Can you believe it's been 8 seasons? Ozzie Newsome has been gone, not gone, but in charge, not in charge of the organization anymore. So Eric DeCosta now, EDC, 8th season for him as well. Declan Doyle is now the offensive coordinator, 29 years old, same age as his quarterback as well, if you can believe that. Defensive coordinator running the defense, former defensive end for the Ravens, Anthony Weaver, coming over from Miami in his first season as defensive coordinator for the Ravens. Declan Doyle was also offensive coordinator for the Bears last year. And our man, co-cap, Anthony Levine, former Raven special teams player, made his career as a special teams player. So it's good to see like that whole play like a Raven philosophy with these two guys as the special teams coordinator and defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, and former Ravens. What went out the door in the offseason? The biggest one, I may miss a few, so forgive me, but Tyler Linderbaum, the biggest one, $27 million to the Raiders. The largest center contract in the history of the NFL by a mile. He's gone to the Ravens. He's gone to the Raiders. He's going to go ahead and play with, coincidentally, Max Crosby, who actually was in Baltimore for a trade, won't be here. Veterans that didn't re-sign with the Ravens, Kyle Van Noy still unsigned. DeAndre Hopkins, actually, I saw it a little bit ago. He took a job as a coach, it looks like. Tavion Bryant, Brent Urban. You may see Brent Urban on the Giants at some point. Daniel Falele is gone. Hallelujah for that. And Joseph Noteboom still unsigned. A little bit disappointing last year. Isaiah Likely signs with John Harbaugh and the Giants. Is going to be their starting tight end. Charlie Kolar is going to Jesse Minter's former team with the Chargers as well. Got a good contract. Good for him as well. He had to take that. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's fine. That type of contract. Draymond Jones came with the Ravens mid-season. He signed with the Pats, back with his former coach, Mike Vrabel, where he was in Tennessee. Alohi Gilman mid-season trade last year. Played fairly well, I thought, for the Ravens. He's going to go ahead and sign with Kansas City. Play for the Chefs this year. Darius Washington, another Raven, former Raven, going with John Harbaugh and the Giants. Same with Jordan Stout, former punter. Stout might be the best punter in the league as well. So they went ahead and signed a young player, replaced him. Pat Ricard, not going to have a fullback for the Ravens anymore this year. You're going to see 2 tight end sets and all that. You may see an H-back at some point. That a little bit surprising here. Keaton Mitchell was untendered, signed with the Chargers, signed a multi-year deal. Good for Keaton. Probably getting some playing time. Not in the plans, I don't think. I don't know why. To me, Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry makes perfect sense. I certainly understand that. Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry make perfect sense. Talon Wilds, former Raven, goes with Todd Monken, his former offensive coordinator with the Browns. And one more, David Ajabo still unsigned as well. That's what went out the door. What did we get? Trey Hendrickson, obviously the biggest signing for the Ravens. This is huge. The biggest problem the Ravens had last year, you could argue the offensive line. I thought it was the pass rush was terrible. You get Trey Hendrickson, it's no longer terrible as well. They spent a lot of money. A bit of an injury concern. He only had 4 sacks. He didn't play some, but I love it. Hendrickson, I think, solves it as well. John Simpson with the Jets, he's back. Look, offensive line wasn't good last year. That's just all there was to it. Jalen Hawkins was with the Patriots. He signs. He's going to be probably the third safety, probably take a lot of the staff that Aloe Gilman got. I think you're going to see that with him. Calais Campbell back with the Ravens as well. I think he should start for the Ravens, 40 years old. So good for Calais still hanging in there. Ethan Pallick for the Browns is there as well. Late off-season signing. This guy's just starting center. They're kind of saying that it's going to be a competition. I think it's going to start. Those other guys aren't. I don't think they have what he has. Durham Smythe's coming over with Declan Doyle. I think this is the new Nick Doyle. This is your blocking back. This is going to be your fullback. I think this is the role for him. He's going to get some balls, but I think his role, that's what it's going to be. Danny Pinner signed. He's going to be with the calling a center competition as well. Chris Moore, former Raven many years ago, is going to help the special teams, played with the Commanders. Kevon Wallace played with the Texans years ago, and Javon Gwynn also too in the center competition. I think it's pretty obvious Ethan Pollard's going to start. Why even bother? Draft picks, let's go over that here. Vega Ione, I think you argue the best center, best offensive lineman in the entire draft. At the guard position, Ravens picked him at 14. Zion Young's looks really good so far in camp. So that's a very good sign here at 45. Another stud just looked really good in camp, Jacoby Lane. He's making these searches catches. I'm not surprised at all. Is he fast enough? But yeah, his long arms, his reach, whatever. He's a real Spider-Man out on the field. Eli Shrett for Indiana was picked 4th. Matt Hippner's looked good so far as well. Chandler Rivers at the pick 5. Josh Cuevas today had a decent day today in camp. Adam Randall, the pick of the owner. I think he's going to be on the team. If the owner picks you, researches you, wants you there, I think you can book that one. I think he's made the team unless he's super horrible. Ryan Eckley is going to be the replacement for Jordan Stout here in the draft. Rashawn Benny and Evan Bernstein, 7th round picks, I think possibly practice squad for those guys as well. 5 biggest games on the schedule. I think the Ravens schedule kind of starts in the second half this year. I think you have an easy schedule early. You should have a decent record going into week 8, which I think going into Buffalo and that new stadium, I think is going to be the biggest game of the season so far. The Bills, I think, this is a litmus test for the Ravens. Can you go in and beat Buffalo and actually get it done in Buffalo against the Bills? You totally just choked that last game out last year, and no other way to slice it opening night. You lost the last time you played them in the playoffs the year before. So you're getting – this could get mental here. This could give you a thing like, okay – like a thing here if you lose 3 times in a row in Orchard Park. The Chargers, I think, is huge. Jesse Minter's former team. You got a lot of former Ravens on that side, even though John Harbaugh is gone. We just talked about Charlie Kolar, Keaton Mitchell, etc. A lot of intermingling. I think the Chargers are going to be a team in the AFC, right in the playoff mix, so that's going to be huge. I think the Texans are for real. I think this is probably the best defense in the NFL. I don't think the Ravens are ahead of the Texans right now. I think the Texans are right there. So I definitely think this is going to be huge. Obviously, week 15 in Pittsburgh against the Squealers. You lost last year. Tyler Luke missed the field goal. you got to redeem yourself against the Squealers in week 15 as well. So that's going to be a huge game at the end of the season. The Ravens Steelers games, we already know, right? That's best rivalry, I think, in the NFL. Toughest games for both teams, regardless of what the record is. I do think this could be also for playoff positioning. Certainly week 17 could be for playoff positioning. The Bengals, Trey Hendrickson's first game as a Raven in Cincinnati. So how big could this game be with the division and everything? Standings, title could be all up for grabs here. And this is the first time we're seeing Trey Henderson in purple in Cincinnati, of all things. So that could be huge here. 5 biggest storylines going in. You got a new coach. You got a new era. How will it look without John Harbaugh on the sidelines? This would be new experience for all of us as fans here. It's been a long time not to have John Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, young coach, highly sought after. How can he handle this? I think Minter has so far looked great as coach from the stuff I've seen and heard so far. So I'm very impressed here so far. This might seem weird to some people, but could Eric DeCosta be on the hot seat? Look, we just saw it. 8 years. No real playoff success. 8 years you've been GM, and your team hasn't got farther than AFC Championship game 1 year. So we'll see. I think a slow start would not be good. I don't think it'll be a slow start, so it may be moot. But I do think Eric could. It doesn't go well early. I think there could be some heat on Eric here more than what people think. When will Lamar Jackson sign? I think this is taking way too long for me. I don't know why this is taking so long. We saw the Trey Zay Flowers contract. You see, taking way too long for me. How Trey Hendrickson will help the defense, I think this is a massive gift. Not a great run stuffer. That's the only downside. I think he's had some injury issues. I don't worry so much about the run on this team because you can stop the run. Like, you have run stop on this team. You got Roquan Smith. You got Travis Jones. You have that. So it's not like you know he has to be there all the time. And can the Ravens get back to the playoffs in 2026? I absolutely think that's very possible that the Ravens can get back to the playoffs. Is Super Bowl? We'll talk about that on our NFL predictions, but I definitely think the Ravens can actually get to the Super Bowl as well and get back to the playoffs in this tough division, the North. There you go. And there's the state of your franchise right there, the Ravens, 2026 as well. So camp has started. Tomorrow night, we'll have our first NFL training camp report. We'll go ahead and talk about that, how the Ravens look in camp right now. I think they did everything in the offseason that you pretty much could have done to actually get to a point where you feel good about the team. The only thing was the Tyler Linderbaum thing. For me, I think the whole Max Crosby thing was ugly. But if you look at the roster, I think I'm struggling to see what more they could have done outside of, again, the Linderbaum thing. I think the Linderbaum thing, I think, is great. Even now, I think with Pollock, that makes me feel a little bit better. But I think you did everything you could have possibly done. You go get Trey Hendrickson, you go in the draft, you get guards, you go ahead and get rid of that line. You've done most of what you could have done. So we will see about that. State of the red. All right. Oh, we're going to get to baseball, man. Let's go ahead. Talk a little more NFL here. And we have some news. So we finished with the offense a couple weeks ago. And this week, we're going to talk about the defense. We're going to do our top 10 list all the way up until the season starts. The season starts here shortly. So we've done all the offense. We're going to get to the defense. Tomorrow, we're going to do the defensive tackles. Tonight, we're going to talk about the edge rush. So, who are the top 10 edge rushers in the entire NFL? Who are the 10 guys who are the best on the edge? Who are the guys that you want? I don't think there's anything more important in football. Premium positions on the field: quarterback, wide receiver, edge rush, cornerback, left tackle. Those are the things that you need. Can you score? Can you protect Can you protect your quarterback? Can you force points? Can you cover? Can you do all those things? So let's say tonight, who are the best edge rushers in the NFL? Number 10, Nick Bosa of the 49ers. I don't know what's going on with the 49ers. A lot of injuries there. And I think that's the problem with Nick Bosa. He's been injured so many times in recent years, like where it's really hurt him as well. So he didn't have as many sacks in recent years. So I think it was 2022. He had a huge career year, 18 sacks. Hasn't really gotten back to that. So that's why he's not higher. But obviously the explosiveness when it is there, I think he's fantastic. Bosa, I think, is a top 10 player. I don't have him top 5 anymore. I just don't have him top 5 anymore. But I think
it's not working.
People also talk about him too, like he's older. He's only 28 years old. So I definitely think this guy can absolutely be back to where he was. I think he's definitely on a good defense. Only 2 sacks last year, but then I think he only played 3 games. But this guy is good for 10, 11 sacks. I think if he's healthy, and if he is healthy, I think he's definitely a top 10 guy. Nick Bosa, number 9. Danielle Hunter, not Danielle. I think I've said that wrong. Danielle Hunter of the Texans. I think this is half of the best pass rush trio, the best pass rush in the NFL
I forgot to
on either side when you talk about Danielle Hunter. This guy, all he's done now, I'm looking at 4 consecutive seasons of double-digit sacks, 15 sacks last year with the Texans. Even before that, he's had double-digit sacks several times. He's 32 years old. I think this is probably maybe the most underrated player in the entire National Football League. I mean, nobody talks about how consistent and how solid he's been because he's not a megastar and he's not in New York where you have to talk about the Giants or the Jets 80,000 times or Dallas or whatever. This guy's solid NFL production at the edge for years. Nothing wrong with Danielle Hunter at all getting this spot. Number 9, Danielle Hunter. I think he's terrific. Number 8, Trey Hendrickson for the Ravens. Injuries, I think, concern me a little bit with Hendrickson. Last year, I think that's a bit of a thing where I think injuries. He's had some injury concerns, but I got to tell you, this guy is unblockable at times. I think he's probably only other than Garrett. I think when this guy bends the edge, he's about as good as you can find as a guy doing that, bending the edge. Also, to motor. He kind of also reminds me of a guy we had a long time ago, Michael McCrary. I've said that several times with him. He just never stops moving, never stops. The energy never stops with him. So love Hendrickson.
How much ice?
I think he could be even better on a better defense. I think in Baltimore. I think like that. But Anthony Weaver's got to be loving the fact that he's got Trey Hendrickson on his team. Number 8. Number 7, Brian Burns. Absolutely another guy. They don't really.
Yeah.
I don't hear that much about Brian Burns being a stud. This guy is fantastic. Sack production totals isn't always. That's the only problem I have. I like to see it every year. Last year he had 16. He's had 12. I'd like to see him a touch more consistent all the time. But he's a complete linebacker, complete defensive end, complete. I think you think about. I heard John Madden say one time, talk about Rod Smith as a wide receiver. What's the first word that comes to mind? And that's consistent. When you think of Brian Burns, the first word that comes to mind is complete. Does everything well. Nothing you can't put on the field with him. I think Burns, is fantastic as well. John Harbaugh's got to be thrilled. This is part of also, too, I think, why he didn't have no problem sending Lawrence out of there, because Dexter Lawrence out of there, because he knows who is best defensive tackle, who's best defensive player. Is this Brian Burns? Number 7, not the Ravens, the Raiders. Max Crosby, wild man, stays in Oakland. I think he's going to stay in Oakland, obviously. I mean, camp has started. I don't buy any of the injury stuff the Ravens said. I think there's just injury concerns, obviously, but I don't buy any of that. I think it was all business. I think they had a chance to get Henderson, and I think they took it. I think they just rather not give up the picks. No, I don't think there's anything to Max Crosby that's a problem. I think he's an outstanding talent. A little bit older. That's the only thing that bothers me about Crosby. He did have an injury. I mean, I don't think that's, a complete lie, but he's only 28 years old. I'm not, I think Crosby, and I think Crosby is another one who's a complete player. Like, he's not just an edge rusher. He can do anything on the field that you put him, and hopefully the Raiders will be better. I think the Raiders, they couldn't be any worse. So I think the Raiders will be better as well. I think Crosby, is fantastic. Number 6, Max Crosby. Number 5, Micah Parsons. The Packers aren't going to have him, I don't think, for the first 6 weeks. I think that's right. So I do think he is going to miss at least the start of the season. I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I dropped him down. I don't think you're going to have him the whole year. That's the only problem with Parsons. I think you talk about a complete Brian Burns. I think this guy is complete and dominant. Started at played in college as inside linebacker, played the NFL inside linebacker, outstanding edge rusher. Totally Packers look different with Micah Parsons on it. I think they may have to wait to get him. So I don't know if he's going to be number 1, the best in the league all season, but I definitely think he's right there. If somebody tells me Micah Parsons is your best defensive and edge rusher in the league, I got no problem with saying that. I mean, I think Parsons, is good. He's not as good, I don't think, all the time. That's the only negative. Sometimes great pass rushers look like that at times, though. Like, it seems like they take plays off or whatever. I kind of feel that with Parsons sometimes. But that's the only thing. TJ Watt for the Squealers is phenomenal. I did drop him down. Watt's going to be 30. Watt's 32 now, 33 years old. Watt's not as good of a player as he once was. He's still really good. But I think there was a time with Watt, like every play, he would just blow everything up all the time. He was just dominant all the time. He's not that way all the time anymore. He can be double and taken out of plays, but don't get it twisted. This guy is going to get double-digit sacks for you. You better still double team him, or he's gonna have a hard time. I think this was the one play in the league I think Lamar had the most trouble with for the longest time. I thought was TJ Watt. Watt last year, not quite as good, but I'm not too concerned about that. Not the same player quite, but just dropping him a little bit. I mean, not number 1, 2, but like 4. I think he's fantastic. I think he's healthy all year. He's really, really good. Number 3, Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions. I think about Chris Berman every time I see an age at Aiden Hutchinson, and use the term that he coined, simplistic. He's a football player. Aiden Hutchinson is just Aiden Hutchinson all day long. Definitely 2. Just tough as he needs to be, fast as he needs to be. 14.5 sacks. I think he's coming off his best season last year. From Michigan, played his career at the University of Michigan, now playing in the NFL. At the Detroit Lions. I think he's fantastic. I think he's strong and fast. A great combination of strong and fast as well. He's a power rusher and he can be a speed rusher at the same time. I think he's also outstanding against the run. I think you can't run on him either. So I think he's got it as well. I don't think he's quite the pop pass rusher as the top 2, but I think all around as good as you're going to find in the NFL. Aiden Hutchinson, number 3. Number 2, Will Anderson for the Texans. Look, we talked about Hunter here earlier on the list. Will Anderson, I think the difference between Hunter and Anderson, I think Anderson, the best is yet to come. I really believe this. 24 years old. So I think he is he's been unblockable wherever he's been. I think in college, you couldn't block him. I think in the NFL, you couldn't block him. I don't think they even rush him enough. I think as well. But I think he's not just a guy who can rush, but he does so many things so well. He is. I think like too. Also, if you put him if he wasn't an edge rusher, he'd be the best linebacker. I think at either position, no matter where you would put him as well. So I think he's more of a true linebacker than I think anybody else on the list. And he's still going to get you 12 sacks. I think he does so many things so well. I think that's the only thing that's almost hurting his sack total, and he's still getting double-digit sacks like every year. So Will Anderson, I think, is an absolute beast. Will Anderson, number 2. And number 1, and I don't think it's particularly close, was Myles Garrett. Look, it is scary to think about. One, as a Ravens fan, we're all glad to get Myles Garrett out of our division. Like, that was the main thing that we talked about. Getting this guy, getting this turkey tail out of our division. And I think he's going to wreak havoc no matter where he is. He's going to have a good defense around him. On top of it, he's going to have McDuffie. He's going to have, how many sacks when he's he going to get with this? I don't think 30 sacks is not out. Don't. I don't think that's out of the possibility. I'm serious. I think 2 a game is not insane. So I think Garrett, is phenomenal. So this is pretty easy. Formerly of the Browns, Myles Garrett, number 1, the only choice of the Rams. There you go. All right. So there it is right there. The top 10 edge rushers in the NFL. So definitely let's go over that. I think Garrett's pretty easy, number 1. I think the rest of the list is close. Somebody might say Parsons, you might say Will Anderson, you might say, but I think there's a pretty good gap between Myles Garrett and the rest of the list there. So thank you for that. That definitely will be on our social media here in the morning. We'll definitely have that squared away for you here as well.
Shouldn't Alana be going to sleep? It's 9:40.
What?
Yeah, she only staying with them.
All right. Let's talk baseball, man. Like I said, I was out of the ecosystem for a couple of days, so I didn't really even get to follow really until the deadline or whatever. So I did miss a couple games. So we're going to talk about July as well, and we're going to talk about the MLB trade deadline, and we're talking about the obvious stuff here. I just cannot believe. I just cannot believe what I'm seeing. It's not just also to the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, MLB. I don't understand y'all as well, but we'll go there. Trust me. With that. All right, so let's go ahead and go over this as well and check that out. How did July look for the Orioles as well? So this was their record at the end of July. We got that July 31st. Fourth in the AL as well, 4 out of 10, fourth in the AL East, 54 and 56. That's not horrible. That's not good, but that's not horrible as well. When you ended this, you were playing the Phillies, and it was, that's not horrible. So let's go ahead and go over that as well. Now, this month is always hard after the trade deadline because some of these guys are obviously not here anymore. So we got to talk about that some of these guys aren't here. But this is just for the previous month as well. Taylor Ward. I thought Taylor Ward was good for the Orioles. I do. I think we didn't get what we thought we would get, but I think Ward, gave you something. Get pair. He was consistently giving you something, unlike a lot of the guys on the roster. So I thought it was good. Streaky, Gunnar Henderson. I think that's fair, at least. I don't know what's wrong with Gunnar. I'm really not sure. I'm really at the point now, like it's not even. It's been. You gotta say now. It's been a while since we've seen like some real stud stuff from Gunnar Henderson. Been a minute. He's been okay-ish, but if you want to say that, but it's been a while since we've really seen it. Peter Alonson's been fantastic all season. I don't really. I think a slow start, but we're getting exactly what we expected from Peter Alonso. You talk about Ward, we didn't get what we thought we would get.
You need to get ready for bed anyway. Go to bed. It doesn't matter. Go to bed.
We didn't get what we thought we would get. Peter Alonso, you're getting exactly what you thought we would get. Adley Rushman, I'll save it. But Adley's Adley was injured towards the end of the last few weeks as well. We'll get to Adley here. Kobe Mayo.
Go to bed.
Kobe Mayo, solid against lefties all year. Hit a home run tonight against the left-handers. Kobe Mayo's been solid against left-handers all year. Now with Adley out the door, I think playing him at DH, I think is fine. That's actually fine. I think that's the best thing that happened to him because now you could play him every day at DH. He could play more against the lefties. He could play at night. I think that's the best thing happened with him. Who's starting in outfield? I don't even know. That's why I didn't even bother. Colton Cowser, I guess. Has been playing. You've been seeing Tyler O'Neill. You had Jeremiah Jackson tonight. Same with Tavares. Where has he been?
You good, Jackson?
You got me. Who's starting? I know who's been at third base. Christian Equinacio Strand off to a decent start at third base. This is exactly what you want from a minor league player coming up from Norfolk. This is what you call a good 4A player. Guy who has had some major league experience. You put him in a minor league, you can put him in the major leagues, and then he can play decent. 3 home runs already, 11 RBI. Decent enough. I got no problem. JJ Jackson Holiday's been coming on lately. I think that's a good sign as well. He's not playing enough. He's been outplayed a little bit. Now with Blaze Alexander hurt, he's playing more. And I think we've seen this a couple times with Jackson. He plays every day. He kind of can find himself. He's not a good part-time player or a guy who has to come in and out. Kyle Bradish, 7-10. I think he's had some tough luck with starts as well. I think his record should be better, but he's been good for the most part as well. Brandon Young, I think, has been the best pitcher this season. I don't think there's any question about that in my mind as well. Shane Baz, he's had tougher luck with starts. I think as his ERAs went down, the loss total went up. He's 4-10 with a 3.86 ERA. That's just crazy. Trevor Rogers has been fantastic lately. I think he had a good start to the season, a lousy after that, and he's been fantastic since then. So I thought he was great again tonight. I think he's been good for a while. Dean Kramer, no longer in the rotation, now in Minnesota. I'm not going to do too much with injuries again. The bullpen, same. Like Tyler Wells, no longer here. Suarez, Helsley, you're not going to have the rest of this year. Rico Garcia. I think Garcia has been slipping. I think, frankly, he's just been overused, in my opinion. I think that's why you're seeing worse results. You can't use him in every high leverage situation and expect him to just bail you out every time. It doesn't work like that. As well, injuries are, I think we already know. I didn't update it, but I'm just going over. Like Chris Bassett may be back soon. Heston Kjerstad, they've been saying it's a hamstring for a while. Batista, I think we are going to see some point at this season as well. Mounty, you're not going to see. Westy, you're not going to see. Blaze Alexander should be back shortly. Tyler Neal has been playing. Trump has been in the lineup as well. Dylan Beavers is there as well. So there you go. There's our recap of there's our recap of the season. There's our recap of July. Orioles decided to sell. Man, I don't know what to tell y'all, fans. I'm sorry that we're even going through this. Let me tell you something. Tell all of you something. I am 40 blank years old, right, in the late 40s. I've been in the workforce ever since I've been 17 years old. I've worked. I used to be a full service guy. Some of you people like under 30 wouldn't even know what that is. A full service guy was you went to the gas station and the guy was there and he pumped your gas in the gas tank, right? So you didn't have to get out and get it yourself. You paid extra 40 cents or $1 or $2, whatever it is. So I would go pump your gas for you. And that was my first job. So I've been working now for 31 years. 31 years. I went back to work today. 31 years. And so I don't come on. Now, why am I saying all that? I don't take saying somebody should be fired lightly because it's too hard for people to get an opportunity. It's too hard in life, especially in 2026, for people to get it. You know, I've seen my daughter struggle. I've seen so many people struggling to get a job, to get any type of employment, to get ever. And somebody gets an opportunity. I don't care what anybody else is doing, any other podcast is doing. I don't take lightly saying somebody should be fired. I really don't. And I mean that. I don't think that's I say you should never do it, or I'm criticizing people that do it. But this is not Mark Madden, Coach Killer. I don't take lightly saying somebody should be fired. It's time for Michael Elias to go. Period. I don't know why he's still here. I cannot understand why a guy who has failed as much as he has in recent years still has a job. I can't help you at this point. I just nothing I could say to help you, Michael Elias, anymore with this. It just hasn't worked, buddy. It just is no other way to put that. You cannot sell 2 years in a row, not meet expectations, and then after saying that you're gonna get players, and then trade your most favorite player on the roster, maybe outside of Gunnar Henderson or somebody might say people, but you trade your most popular player. You trade, which kind of almost makes sense, but then you go and you trade Dean Kramer. You trade Tyler Wells. So you just sell off all these guys. You trade Taylor Wood. I got no use for this. This guy, he's not an inspirer, I don't think. Lots of double speak when you hear him talk. I did put it up on Twitter as well. The conversation he had in the broadcast booth after the trade deadline with KB, Kevin Brown, and Big Ben McDonald. And more interesting to me, almost to them, what they were talking about in the article is like what people were saying there. And in the notes, when in the comment section, I saw it a lot. You know, I saw over and over, awkward, uncomfortable, not genuine. I cannot listen. Here's somebody on the page. I cannot listen to the man anymore. Nothing he says, I tell him I believe. Hate him. He has made the right move with Adley, but Adley wasn't going to resign with the team. He's going to contend this year anyway without you. The offer for Adley was too good to take. Adley replacement have him locked up for 6 years. So somebody agrees with the Adley trade. Fitz rots in from the head. Judge your own analysis there. Does he always sound like somebody socked him in the jaw, or was it one for the A's? Oof. They're doing damage control mode. I'm okay if Kevin Brown is traded. His facial expressions, the whole interview said it all. He knows he effed up, and he is the most hated man in the city of Baltimore. Why is this dude just sound like somebody punched his throat? I miss where players spent their careers with one team, maybe two, etc. So some of that wasn't, it was off the beat. It was a little bit off of there. But there was no support for him. There was no support for him other than the Adley trade there as well, which I also, too, can agree with the logic at least. I can agree with the logic at least. I can at least agree with the logic of the trade that you made for Adley there as well, because it is, you did sign Bassaro to a long contract. You weren't going to pay two catchers a huge amount of money. You weren't going to keep doing that. You weren't going to play Adley at first base the whole deal. You weren't going to keep doing it. So that was, I understand. All right. We'll get back to it. All right. Baseball summer. MLB trade deadline. Mike Elias is a goofball and all that. Guys, some of the stuff I saw on the trade deadline too was goofy. I'll get to the obvious one here in a second, but let's go over the MLB trade deadline, some of the trades that happened here as well. Rays make a trade. Freddie Peralta goes to the Mets. Goes from the Mets, rather. Prospects Aiden Smith, Gary Gill, M.M. Padre, go ahead. Foster Griffin goes to the Guardians. And the Nationals get prospects Josh Harte, Will Dean, and I think it's Kenny. I think it's wrong there as well. Freddie Peralta makes sense. This one actually does make sense. Mets are really not good this year, really struggling. Peralta hasn't been what they thought. Maybe just not the right fit, etc. Go ahead and get something for him, since you're not going to keep him. You're not in contention. They're definitely not in contention. They're like very bad. So that makes sense to me why you would do that. And again, Guardians, Nationals getting them pitching help as well makes perfect sense. Nats not doing well either. Blue Jays get Jose Soriano as well. Arnon Nimina. Good minor league player a couple years ago, so it's a good prospect getting that there. Angels, watched the broadcast tonight with the Angels. The Angels always came out and said, well, fun at the games is more important than winning for fans. No, it is not. That's not true. You want a good experience at games, don't get me wrong. But that's, Angels again makes sense. Angels have been in sell mode all year long, not very good. So no real beef with that. Again, Mets, Cubs get Clay Holmes as well. Good trade for him. Holmes has turned actually into a really good starter as well. So Cubs still in the thick of things, actually going ahead and getting some prospects, giving away some prospects. Jefferson Rojas as well. So getting that there as well. Rays actually make another trade. Liam Hicks. It's a pretty good trade. It's very Ray like, a guy who's a solid hitter, solid young player, and kind of under the radar. Like getting Liam Hicks. Liam Hicks, I think, is much better than what people think as well. Marlins get Brendan Taylor, Adrian Santana, Joseph Crisling in the trade. So as well, good trade, I think, as well. Yankees, of course, did something. Luis Garcia Jr. from the Nats. They're going to go ahead and play him at first base as well. Giovanni Cruz, Jake Bird, Jay Cutler, and Kurt Gamble. Not a bad haul. I think of prospects. Not bad as well. Yankees, obviously, the Yankees always do something. Yankees, of course, are going to do something as well. Longtime Brewer, former Oriole Kevin Gausman goes to the Cubs. So the Cubs are beefing up that pitching. They definitely need it as well. So Gausman was so good in the World Series last year. He's going to get another shot to play in the World Series. Going to get another shot to play in the World Series. Brett Bateman and Ty Southeen as well. Another prospect there as well. All right. This kind of shows kind of my point here. Giants, again, makes total sense that the Giants would sell. No problem with the Giants. The Giants aren't any good. They took on a lot of salaries. Makes sense. So I got no particular beef with the Giants actually going ahead and selling. I'm good with that. That makes sense. Padres buying, I think, surprised me a little bit. They're not giving up. And this is a team that's not giving up. Padres getting Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray, former Cy Young winner, one of the best pitchers, I think, in baseball as well. Going to San Diego as well. There as well. I don't know if San Diego's got enough, but they did continuing to get more pitching. Now, this is where it gets crazy. The Tigers, Casey Mize actually is going to the Padres as well. Gabe Workman from the Tigers. I'm sorry, Casey Mize and Gabe Workman going to the Padres, where the Tigers get Cash Mayfield and Jackson Wolf. Why are the Tigers trading their whole team, man? What are you doing? I mean, that doesn't make sense. Why you're 2 games under 500 right now and you're trading away your and here's the thing, we're going to get to this one here in a second. Because it's all the Dodgers' fault, right? Check out Dodger Jason's Dodger podcast on Driving to the Top as well. Luis Arias as well. This guy's is a good slap hitter. No problem. Phillies will absolutely. He actually kind of fits in with the Phillies. He's actually typical, kind of what they have. Good offensive player, not great on defense. And he's going to give you offensive production. You could put him anywhere in the order. I think probably except the middle because he's going to hit singles all the time. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with a guy who's going to hit for you all the time as well. So Luis Arias will go ahead. Luis Arias, rather, will go ahead and go to the Phillies and Gabe Killen as well. All right, big trade. The Tigers go ahead and get Dodgers number 5 prospect, Zaire Hope. 25 overall MLB. These are good prospects, by the way. These are not just bad prospects, especially the 2. River Ryan is top 60 prospect, top 70 prospect, rather. Right-handed pitcher. You get that as well, and you get right-handed Brady Smith. And the Dodgers get Tarek Subel for them. And apparently this is all the Dodgers' fault. Let me tell you guys something. The salary cap, there may not even be a MLB season in 2027. You know, I'm preparing my business the fact that we may not be able to talk baseball at all next year. For sure, I think we're going to lock out in December after the collective bargaining and everything is over. The teams that should be worried about the collective bargaining are the teams doing the daggone deals with the money. The Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Yankees, things like that. If the cap comes, they should be the teams like, oh, wait, we don't want to da-da-da-da. And they're giving these guys. Crazy. Why? I heard Jeff Passan say it several times. Well, they need to trade Tarek Subel. Why? Why do you need to trade Tarek Subel? To what end? You're not even that far out of it. I mean, oh my God. Like, certain teams in baseball just don't want to win and don't want to compete. I mean, there's no reason. There's about 8 teams that really should be all in sell, in my opinion, like based on their record, based on everything. Should be all in sell. Maybe you're throwing 1 or 2 more, that's about it. And we saw, and just, well, they're out of it. No, they're not. the 2 teams, you got the Dodgers, you got the Guardians ahead of them who are exactly 500 at the beginning of the day today, and you had the Red Sox ahead of them in the wild card I'm talking about, that were dead in the water like early in the year. They've won like what? They won like 14 in a row, and they won like the last 6 at the beginning of that. Like, okay, and you're so again, but it's the Dodgers' fault that this is going on. It's all the Dodgers' fault that this is going on as well. That this is happening. Yeah. Ridiculous. So that's the big trade as well. How do I think it'll work out on the field? School's fantastic. I mean, we know like this will put the Dodgers in a chance to win the 3-peat. I think the Dodgers, it makes total sense. I mean, who wouldn't want Terry Skubal on their team? Even if I had pitchers like you, of course you would. Terry Skubal with that offense and a pitcher friendly park, and I think this will work out just great. Tigers and the Tigers, y'all a bunch of suckers. The Orioles, y'all a bunch of suckers too. Even though it's my team, that you're behaving that way, giving away players as well. That that's just ridiculous. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, but it's the Dodgers' fault as well that this is going on. All right. There's your baseball summer. Let me hit the music here. I'd hit this one. Creepy and cookie. Because it's stupid. Yeah. And national media, y'all can eat one too, because y'all like convincing people that they have to trade. Are you kidding me? They don't have to do that. That's crazy. Y'all, I heard that way too many times. Well, they had to do it. No, they didn't have to do anything. It's ridiculous. All right, Orioles report a little different because obviously we didn't broadcast last week, so we mostly talked about it as well. The big trades. The Orioles did get Adley Rutschman trade. It did actually happen for the Orioles as well. So it's the end of an era in Baltimore where Adley Rutschman was the number 1 pick. Mike Elias coming in with him, I think, as the new GM. They were going to build around Adley. They were going to build around Adley as well. And now he's gone to the Boston Red Sox, of all places. So let's try to get the details of the trade up here as well. The Orioles actually did get something in the trade. So I do want to say that as well. I don't think it was just, some people are like criticizing that they didn't get anything. I don't completely agree with that. I do think that what they did actually get from the Red Sox, there was a comment there that I do agree with. Well, they got something in their trade. The pitching prospects that they got, I think was good. So I'm not too upset about that personally, because Anthony Everston can pitch. I think he's a top prospect. I mean, some people think that he is the top prospect already in the Orioles system. I don't know if you can see that or not. But I'm pulling up Jacob Calvin Meyer here as well. Trying to see who else has it. But you get Anthony Everson, you get Eddie Escobar, Kyron Witherspoon, and Carlos Tavares. So those are two good pitching prospects. Witherspoon, I think, not quite as good as Anderson, but I think Anderson, is a top 100 prospect by every metric as well. So they are getting better pitching prospects as they go. For years, I criticized, the pitching prospects. You got Joseph Deerwood now, etc. So I criticize that. The trading Adley itself, I'm not so on that too much in one sense because it was redundant. I do understand when you say that you had Adley and it was redundant, and I get it. I get it because that's not totally inaccurate that you had two catchers and you weren't going to pay two catchers. So I got it. All right. But you didn't get any major league players back. You didn't make the team better this year, which you said you would do. You said that you would be buying and you would make the team better this year, and you haven't done that. I have a bigger trouble really with the other trades, quite frankly, because this other stuff that you didn't have to do. Taylor Ward is gone. Taylor Ward, and I'm trying to pull up Taylor Ward here. Can't type in my old age. So Taylor Ward trade. Orioles receive Alex Happy, who pitched tonight, Brock Moore, and Russell Killing for Taylor Ward in exchange per source. Okay, so you got a reliever for again. Like, what are you doing? You're tearing the team down again. There was another one, Dean Kramer, now with the Minnesota Twins. So again, what you bring back for Dean Kramer? And I'm pulling it up now. Not having a great season, I actually get that. He gave up 3 hits in 5 innings tonight when he actually pitched for Minnesota. That was weird looking at him. Some people didn't like Dean Kramer, but again, you didn't get anything, so I kind of understand that. Let's see. I mean, you didn't get much considering you're having this trouble finding it. And Tyler Wells was the other one. This was really angering. You showed so much patience with Tyler Wells all this time. You did everything you could. They could have cut Tyler Wells 5 or 6 times. You showed so much patience keeping Tyler Wells, getting Tyler Wells to become a good player. You spent all this time trying to get Tyler Wells to be any good. Tyler Wells tonight, 1.1 innings, no hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts in his debut. You spent all this time getting Tyler Wells to become a good pitcher for you. You despite all of his injuries, starting, bullpen, all this other stuff, and then you go ahead and you trade him away. When you're finally getting solid production. Tyler Wells also to classy stuff as well, sending him to the Rays. can't even find what they even got for Wells either. Yeah, so they couldn't have got too much. So you spent all this time. Look, and again, I'm gonna say it one more time. I don't take it lightly asking for a guy to leave. I really don't. I really, people have families, but I can't think of a reason to keep Michael Elias at this point. He's failed. You know, this is your third manager. You're still below 500. You're selling at the deadline. When you said you would buy, when you're 3 games out the wild card, and he, by the way, he's not the only one. What teams are trying to do, in my opinion, is they're trying to do both things. They're trying to collect minor league players and stay in the wild card. Oh well, I don't need to do blah 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 blah, and cut the payroll. Blah blah blah. Crap. Total crap. This is why baseball is heading for labor war because of these owners acting this way and these teams acting this way while this is going on. All right, that's your Oriole report for this week. Thank you very much. We'll do a more regular Oriole report. I didn't think it made sense just to go over stuff from last week, so we'll do that more traditionally the way we usually do it tomorrow night on our broadcast. Orioles Ravens training camp report. We'll go over who's doing well in training camp as well. Very good stuff so far from Jacoby Lane. Defense ahead of the offense. Don't be too concerned. That's normal. First week or so, defense is ahead of the offense a little bit. That's all right. We'll go over that. Who's the top defensive tackles in the NFL? We'll go over that tomorrow night as well. And we were going to talk about it, but I didn't move it. I definitely had to talk about the trade deadline stuff. The IronBirds. We'll talk about that. Baseball summer. Thank you guys for joining us here. We're back. Bravery Sports Podcast. You enjoy the rest of your day.